Hello and welcome to the Met Office 10-day trend. Following the spring we've just had, we certainly need some rainfall, so you might be pleased to hear that during the next 10 days low pressure will often be nearby, bringing us spells of rain, showers, even some thunderstorms. If you're more of a fan of warm sunshine, well, we will have some of that too. In fact, it's turning warmer by the weekend and more humid. But the tricky thing from my point of view is telling exactly where and when we'll get the rainfall versus the warm sunshine. And actually that's more difficult than normal after around Friday because of the behaviour of the jet stream. Now, we often look to the jet stream to tell what areas of low pressure are coming our way during the next few days from, say, the other side of the Atlantic. That's not so much the case at the moment, because what's happening during the next couple of days is a smaller portion of the jet stream cuts off from the main flow and forms a closed circulation close to the southwest of the UK. And within that closed circulation you get what's called an upper low or an upper vortex at around 30,000 feet above our heads. Why do we care about that? Well, it behaves as if you're taking the lid off a boiling pan of water. Everything starts to rise, bubbles form in the atmosphere. Now, predicting that will happen is the easy part, but predicting exactly where those bubbles will occur, that's the tricky part, and that's what it comes down to during the next week to 10 days. We do need the rain, like I said, but sometimes it can be too heavy, and certainly for West Wales, southwest England, tonight there will be some very wet weather, some heavy and prolonged rainfall. In some places 50 to 70 millimetres of rainfall, falling on fairly dry ground, could cause surface water flooding, could cause some issues in places. Yellow warning in force for that. By Thursday morning, that's largely disappearing out of the way, and then for much of England and Wales, showers essentially during the rest of Thursday, but some brighter, drier weather in between. Scotland and Northern Ireland looking drier, best of the sunshine. Western Scotland, all areas fairly breezy and on the cool side. But then later Thursday, our attention turns to another area of heavy and persistent rainfall that's coming into eastern England, especially northeast England. The eastern side of the North York Moors, eastern side of the Pennines could see some particularly wet weather, and again that could cause one or two issues, so we've got our eye on that. That then spreads into the rest of northern England, Northern Ireland, as well as much of Scotland during Friday. But by Friday morning, our attention again returns to the south of the UK, where over northern France another area of heavy, potentially thundery rain forms, being dragged upwards by the upper low that's in our atmosphere, and then being pushed into southern parts of the UK. So southern England, South Wales turning increasingly wet, some heavy rain for a couple of hours during Friday, and some heavy showers ahead of that across the Midlands as well as the rest of Wales. All of that moves north later Friday and into the start of the weekend. The weekend essentially is dominated by this area of low pressure to the southwest of the UK, sitting underneath that upper area of low pressure. And in tandem they help to induce showers across many parts of the country, some heavy downpours, some longer spells of rain as well. And like I say, predicting exactly where these bubbles will form is the tricky part, but during Saturday and Sunday be prepared for some sharp showers, even the odd thunderstorm, or even some more persistent spells of rain. But there will be some drier weather, and it will be driest towards northwest Scotland. Now, you'll notice the winds are changing as well through the weekend. For much of the country we'll have a warm and increasingly humid southerly airflow. 26 Celsius in the southeast, 23 in western Scotland. But for northeast Scotland, for northeast England, well, it looks increasingly cool and misty along that North Sea coast, because the wind here will be coming from the North Sea. So the weekend, increasingly warm and humid, risk of some fairly sharp showers or thundery downpours, but also some drier interludes, and it will be fairly cool and misty along that North Sea coast of Scotland as well as northern England. Then, into the start of next week, there's little change. Another one of these closed circulations, cut off areas of low pressure high up in our atmosphere, just wanders about erratically to the south of the UK, and so across much of the UK the weather is fairly static. It looks like it will stay fairly humid and warm, and there will be some sunshine, but the air will still be unstable enough to produce some of these sharp and slow moving downpours. Out to the west, across the Atlantic, the jet stream is taking more of a typical path, and it's carrying an area of low pressure with it. Now, it looks likely that later next week, that more typical weather for the UK will begin to take over, and that means that for many places it will turn drier, with the area of low pressure disappearing to the south, But with low pressure returning to northern and western Scotland, well, it's here that we might see things turn more changeable, as well as Northern Ireland. So through next week, at first, there's going to be some very warm and humid air across the country, and there'll be some sharp showers. But later next week, the most likely weather pattern is that we'll have low pressure close to the northwest of the UK and high pressure closer elsewhere, and that means that it will slowly turn drier for, say, England and Wales, but we'll see more changeable weather in Scotland and Northern Ireland. Stay safe and stay up to date with all the latest by following the Met Office on social media. Bye bye.